Dr. Stone, episode 18, recap, go. Gin lets us know that the Stone Wars are about to begin. Hyoga begins the Stone Wars, and then Senku makes some swords for the village and they defend themselves. What did you like? There's a lot of good stuff in this. So, starting from the top, we get the, my favorite, that we've seen out of all of the, This Is Exhilarating's, in the Japanese, in the original, so subtitles in America. He absolutely just murders the voice line. It's so good. It's so good, and it's right at the beginning before the credits. It's awesome. We get Kenro being a legit martial artist. He recognizes that he's outnumbered with a spear, so he just hops on a bridge and hides behind his shields until the village figures something out. That's how you use a spear and shield, so good job. So Hyoga gets introduced right at the beginning of this episode. He's really cool. He's got the black mask. He's got Brock from Pokemon. He's got those eyes going on. We got white hair, very proper, likes to stand up straight. He definitely overvalues his own intelligence, or overestimates, or I don't know, I guess he's just kind of cocky about his own intelligence. Like, he's constantly telling the dudes that he's traveling with that they're idiots and their brains are melted and they can't think straight, and it's like, I get it, he's traveling with a bunch of dumb meatheads that Tsukasa woke up just because they're muscle-headed, so they probably didn't have a whole lot of book learning going on, but I definitely think that you can see a difference in how Senku is, like, jokingly and friendly, like, calling people, you moron, come on, no, it's like this, I'll explain it to you, don't worry. And he's kind of jovial when he's mocking other people, and this guy's just like, I hate you, you're stupid, and dumb people don't belong around me. And there's a big difference, because, like, obviously Senku's the smartest dude in the room, and he knows it, and he's not ashamed of it, and so he doesn't mind laughing at people who don't understand something, because he's happy to explain it to them so that they can understand it. And I like that. That's a much better mindset than, all of these stupid people need to get away from me and I hope they die. So, especially to middle schoolers and high schoolers that are finding out that you're really good at STEM projects, don't be a fucking tool. There's so many nerds that are just tools, and they're like, nobody wants to be my friend because nobody likes nerds. People love nerds these days. Nerds run the world. Everybody likes video games. No one's making fun of you for playing D&D anymore. Nobody likes you because you're an asshole. Even if that is you and you can't get it, and it feels like you won't get out of it, everybody grows out of it once they realize they're not as hot shit as they thought they were in college. So don't worry, it'll come around. You'll be an actual person one day. Jesus Christ. So yeah, Kinro gets knocked off the bridge by Hyoga. Oh right, I was talking about Hyoga. So one thing that I really want to bring up about him is he reminds me of a Spider-Man villain. Not anyone in particular, but Spider-Man has technology as his main, like, source of his power. Like, even the spider that bit him and gave him the, like, supernatural powers or whatever is, in most iterations, like, genetically modified. And that's the science. He makes his own web fluid. He builds he builds most of his own tech. And I like that Hyoga and all of Spider-Man's villains, well, not all of them, most of them are a reflection on the technology that Spider-Man uses. Doc Ock, the Lizard, I'm pretty sure Electro in most cases. Um, but yeah, technology's everywhere, good and bad in the Spider-Man universe. And with Tsukasa, you really get the feeling of like, oh, this is science versus a literal force of nature, like a muscle-bound gorilla that knows how to carry a fuck-off cleaver. And it's like, yeah, that is scary. But we also need someone who can like kind of match Gin and be somewhat of a foil for Senku. And they did that really well by giving him one of the coolest weapons that you could ever think of. I don't remember the name of it, but it is a spear that's cut in half and then mended with a bamboo rod so that with the flick of a wrist you can spin the front of the spear and make your enemies lose where the tip is. It's really cool. It's a highly technologically advanced Stone Age weapon. Um, so, um, so yeah, he uses that. It pushes Kinro off of the bridge. He's holding on, and everyone's telling Ginro that he needs to cut the bridge down and save everyone in the village. And of course, Ginro is an awesome younger brother. Says that he knows that people probably want him to, but they're being problematic just for asking him to do it in the first place. Um, yeah, don't ask people to kill their own brothers. That's a shitty thing to do. Don't don't do that. Um, but yeah, so all seems lost. But then Senku makes a fake gun, and it turns out that fake guns are OP because they run away. The bad guys run away for a little bit to go wait for a storm, so that flintlocks won't be possible for use. So after they run away, we get some downtime, and at one point, Ansargin is investigating the spear, and he's like holding it, and Hyoga intimidates him away from it. And later on in the episode, we find out that he is sabotaging Hyoga's really awesome spear, and he by like rubbing a small knife into some of the bindings. Oh wait, that's things I didn't like. Fuck me. I totally know how my own podcast works, guys. But yeah, that's where we find out about the spear, and I do like Gin has some really cute animation in that bit. Haha, saved it. I did find something I liked for that scene. I'll get back to that scene and things that I don't like though. Kinro looks dope as hell with the hexagonal, whatever you want to say, bamboo glasses. I'm a big fan of cool glasses in anime. We'll get to it in Gurren Lagann. If you really want to hear me geek out about glasses, wait for later on in season 2 of Gurren Lagann, because the best glasses. There's a set of glasses in Gurren Lagann that, if I won the lottery, making them in real life in my prescription would be the first thing I did with my money. But we can continue on. So Senku tells Gramps that they're gonna be making some katanas, and he gets the DBZ Senkai boost, but this time it's stronger, and he rips his clothes off. And I gotta say, naked Senkai Grandpa is really funny every time it happens. So then we get a scene, the storm rolls in, and all of the Dunderheads are attacking, and there's the Senku's obvious bait just sitting out on the bridge, and then the meatheads come in and try to attack him, and the village jumps out with Japanese katanas. And as soon as the trap gets sprung, we get this really, really awesome splash art. So this splash art fucks so hard. It's some of the best artwork that you could ever find in a show like this. Um, so what it is they all have katanas, and so the splash art is them with a bunch of samurai kimonos on. There's so many little things to love about it, from how just terrifying they all look with their war faces on, to the fact that all of the like blondes have really splashy and garish, colorful robes, whereas the more Japanese influenced featured characters have uh, more subtle and the traditional blue that we've seen out of the village so far. And then I also just like all of their different battle stances. It's just good. All of it is good. It's something that like you could set as the background to your phone, and people would be like, "Oh, holy shit! I've never seen this samurai anime," and it's like, "Oh no, this is absolutely not that." I love how they're all going through, and like Kinro is all excited that he can see, and Magma is like, "Oh crap, these weapons are amazing," and then Kohaku is like, it cuts so well, and then it gets to Ginro, and he's like, "With Magma and Senku and my brother and Kohaku at my side, I can do anything." And I think it's funny that, like, all of the warriors have real, like, reasons to be excited, and then there's just Ginro fighting with the power of friendship and anime. It's really, really funny. Alright, so, I think at that point, it's time to get into what did you not like? There's two things. So, earlier on, I described the scene where Gin is cutting a little bit of a notch into Hyoga's spear. Oh yeah, Hyoga's spear breaks apart at the end of the fight. That's how they win. And yeah, so that's how Gin gets revealed to be as a part of the Kingdom of Science to Tsukasa. So he can't really be a very good spy from here on out. Which, yeah, that's neither I like or didn't like. It's just, I'm glad that we don't have to worry about whose side Gin is on. Not that we were really worried to begin with. Anyways, what did I not like? So the scene where he's handling the spear the first time, I'm upset that they didn't give us animation of him rubbing the head of the spear. Because, well, the rope, or the binding for the head of the spear. Because it's not like this was going to be a grand reveal for the next episode. It's just how the episode ends. And it would have been nice for you to drop one hint at what was going to happen. Like, I get that he managed to touch it and hold it, and I'm sorry, again, getting his hands on anything should, like, clue you into something. Like, if he's focused on something, that thing will be important, and the fact that he cares about it is likely going to be important. And that's all the way down to wanting cola. That's one of the most important things for, like, 3 episodes. I really wish that they would have just had a subtle little thumb movement as he was holding it. Because we just get to see it later on in this episode. It would have been... I don't know. It's something that you notice the second time you watch the episode, and it's kind of glaring once you realize that it's not there. So, gold star minus for the episode. Your artwork was so good, and then your animation faltered. I can't draw for shit, by the way. If there are any animators on Dr. Stone, if you actually somehow end up hearing this, I'm jesting. This is a joke. I'm not trying to be weird about it. All right, and then finally, I gotta. Well, I don't disagree with Senku. I think that Senku shares an opinion as if it's fact, and I think that that is improper. But yeah, there's a he while they're forging it, we get a flashback to them forging, and it's him talking to Gramps as they're forging it, and they say that the edge is fired for strength and cutting, and the black part, the back of the blade, is made flexible for parrying, and that's what makes the Japanese sword the most power. How is it? The strongest blade in the world. And you're probably right on like a technicality standpoint. So a Japanese katana, I will agree, is probably the strongest blade in the world until it snaps in fucking two. Like I said, to each their own. But in most cases, I'm gonna prefer a sword, one that doesn't require a decade of training to wield properly. And then I'm also gonna choose a weapon that doesn't snap in two, uh, if I make a mistake. Well, make a couple of mistakes. But yeah, a big part of a weapon's strength should be how many times you can swing it at something. And there are only so many times a katana can hit another piece of metal. And especially if you're not hitting it, not cutting properly, you can absolutely wreck your sword. If you have a Scottish claymore and someone blocks it with a shield, not only are you crushing their wrist in the process, but you can still swing that claymore at that shield again. And again, and again, and again, and again, and again. Town is gonna break eventually. You'll break their shield with of course it's clunkier and hunkier, and you're not going to be able to swing it as fast as a katana. Not going to be able to do cool parrying maneuvers. There's a bunch of things you can't do that you could do with a katana, but you can do what you can do a lot more. And I mean, having extra weight behind your attacks is good. We've already described how fulcrums work in Dr. Stone, so if your counterweight is 35 pounds as opposed to 5 pounds, you're going to be getting 7 times as much force out of your muscles. That is the same math that Senku would use, so I I respectfully disagree. I say that while a Japanese katana will be the best in the hands of a true and legitimate martial artist that can bring a fight to a close quickly and intentionally, an average bloke with a sword wants something meatier, thicker, and probably a lot heavier. Also, I guess that's D&D talk with Gordon. Yeah, that's this episode. Spoilers. We're gonna get more fighting soon. Basically until the end of the next season, it's fight on site with most of the new characters that we meet. And we get to meet a lot of really fun characters. There are a few more crafting things. There's a really, really, really cool piece of technology that Senku ends up making, but I think that's next season, so I don't think I'm gonna get into it. But yeah, so right now we have gotten oh hang so we've achieved two of our one of our cardinal heroes. So Spear Guy with Tsukasa. We'll be meeting Arrow Boy here in a little bit. And Tsukasa uses swords, so I guess he's the sword hero. Is there a shield guy on Tsukasa's team? I'm wondering if Dr. Stone just bit completely off of the Rising of the Shield hero at this point. No. I'm joking. But we do meet an archer here really soon who has really intense hearing, and there's a scene between him and I think it's Chrome and Magma that's really, really impressive when it happens. And I really love it. So, looking forward to him. And then I guess looking forward to wintertime. The most of the winter episodes in the show are really, really good and very enjoyable. Oh wait, maybe winter has to happen before there's more fighting. I don't think that's the case though. I don't remember. But yeah, the winter months those episodes are all really good, and then once we get into the actual war, it gets phenomenal. Um, so I guess what's the big takeaway? Uh, for this episode, I think the big takeaway is to have I don't know. I guess it's I mean, really, what this episode's trying to do is lay the groundwork for how important information is on a battlefield. So I guess that's the big takeaway: is something between have proper control over your men, because if Hyoko Hyoga if Hyoga could have convinced his men to turn back to Tsukasa, then they wouldn't have risked life and injury, and he might have realized that his spear was getting messed with, and he could have repaired it before actually going back and attacking. Or really, Senku knowing and recognizing his spear, probably from talking to Kinro, and knowing to send a blade to Gin, and then even from there, Suika knowing to follow the flowers that only are supposed to bloom in the light, following them around from shady spot to shady spot to find them. Uh, Information on the battlefield is key. It's the Japanese katana might be the strongest sword in the world, but the best weapon will always be knowing what's going on and being able to plan around it. And Senku even Senku builds a fake bomb. Like he sticks a fuse into a little thing, and then like expecting the wind to blow it out. So he's showing that the storm is making him a sitting duck if he was relying on gunpowder, but the trap that he laid is that he's not relying on gunpowder. I yeah. No, I need a real what is a good takeaway for this? I guess know your fluorography. Um if Hyoga knew that Gin was carrying around a bunch of flowers that meant liar, maybe he could have pieced something together. And even down to Suika understanding how a certain flower grows is what led her to Gin. So, yeah, know what flowers mean. It'll help you read Shakespeare, it'll help you read all sorts of European literature. And this is a really good tip for Dungeons and Dragons writing, is know what flowers mean. If you can give flowers to a particular royal to drop hints at what is going to be happening, giving oh god, I'm not up to date. I haven't paid attention to this in a long time. But giving dragon some sort of nightshade plant could indicate that this human is in fact a polymorphed dragon that has a role in the nobility. Or maybe you are hinting that a certain NPC character death is going to be happening, have them carrying around what is it, poppies? I'm not entirely sure, but there's a flower for every meaning, and uh, good storytelling knows how to write with flowers because good storytelling is written in most languages. So I think that's where I'm going to call it for today. Know your flowers, know what they mean, and I'll see you later.